Welcome back to another guide video for Reincarnation 10. Today specifically, I was thinking of showing off one of the most consistent builds that you can make for basically any character, because it doesn't rely on any skill damage, it doesn't rely on any ascensions, it doesn't rely on any specific trait of any of the characters. Obviously, some characters will be better at this build than others. Crown Prince is probably the best for this. But theoretically, almost any character can use this sort of build to beat Reincarnation 10 without any major difficulties. And that build is the Miasma build. The idea behind the build is to use... let's see if I can find it. Using the Porcupine shotgun weapon alongside a high elemental chance effect secondary with the elemental share Gemini to inflict a massive amount of miasma stacks quickly to be able to kill enemies very effectively. Because miasma, unlike most other sources of damage, is a percentage based on the enemy's health pool, rather than just a flat amount. This means that it massively it will deal a lot of damage on higher difficulties because enemies have a larger health pool. And it will mean that you don't really have to go for any damage increasing ascensions or bonuses. You can focus entirely on movement speed, rate of fire, utility, survivability, all those things that you need to actually make a run possible. No actual damage investing required, apart from parts of the early game, until we can get the Gemini combo up and running. And for this, we'll just be using Crown Prince. Another thing, or this season, is Arcane Talisman, and I'm actually going to be using the Vitality Talisman, because we don't really have a need for damage, which is something like Meteor Talisman, Wild Talisman, the Rapid Fire Charge, Arc and Galaxy Talisman otherwise give. They focus on, providing damage. Vitality Talisman is one of the few that focuses on increasing your survivability by granting you health. With this build in mind, we will be able to generate a massive amount of health towards the latter half of a run. Specifically, or very much towards the end of the run, we'll be probably sitting around 1,500 health during most times actually fighting, which basically seals our survivability in just the talisman itself. Our survivability problem that otherwise occurs on Reincarnation 10 is basically solved just using this talisman on its own. This build does, however, require a bit to truly get going, and that's what I'll be showcasing in this run. And just like my previous video, I will be explaining my thought process behind this build, giving other general pointers and tips for Reincarnation 10, because some people really do struggle with it, and I feel your pain. And I wanted to share things that made it a lot easier for me, which, in my case, is this build. I think 2 or 3 of the videos I've made documenting my Reincarnation 10 runs have been this specific combo. And I wanted to clarify why it's so insanely strong and why it's so consistent specifically for Reincarnation 10. So with that, we're going to be playing Lone Wolf 4. Again, no extra blessing because I like the extra challenge. Mysterious Jokul as well. Reincarnation 10. And the talisman itself, I will explain it more towards the latter half of the run, but we'll just be starting with Vitality Talisman, Elemental Effect, Defeat Enemies, Restore Spirit, Meteor, Emergency Recovery, and Corrosive Slash. That's just what we're going to be going with. I will explain and change up this talisman a lot as the run progresses. Now, just because I'm doing this run with the seasonal bonuses, this is one of the few builds that I'll be showcasing that you don't need this seasonal bonuses. You don't need the talisman to do this. You can do this on classic mode as well. A lot of the videos I showcased did this with classic mode. The seasonal bonuses, though, allows you to gain a lot of survivability just from the talisman alone, sort of securing it and making it even more consistent. So the first thing we want to look out for is... let's see if we can find it here, is Painkiller. Painkiller is the best blessing for Crown Prince anyways, so that's what we're going to be using. It does many things for Crown Prince early game. Not only does it increase just general damage output from all the elemental combos that happen, but it also provides a lot of crowd control with the mind control effect, which means that early game encounters are going to be a lot more consistent. But though, like I said, this build can be done with other heroes as well. It doesn't need to be Crown Prince, it's just the most consistent and thematic for Crown Prince. Another one that does really well with this is the Shotgun Eagle, the Green Eagle character. Again, I still haven't memorized their names at this point, even after I've playing this game for well over 100 hours, if not even more. Another character that might work well with this could be Ao Bao as well, if you just focus on survivability and dual wielding. Tao could also work fairly well with this, but for now, we're just going to showcase Crown Prince. Big Eater, actually a pretty okay one. Grants us a little bit more early game tankiness, which is very much welcome. Yeah, we'll be abusing the Painkiller plus Grenade combo here, starting out for the most of this run. So for Ascensions, there isn't that many that actually improve the build itself. So you're very free to go for utility-based Ascensions or Ascensions that improve your survivability. Hex Smoke for Crown Prince is a very good one. We don't need more electric damage, because the actual electric damage isn't what we're looking for. We're looking for the Miasma combo, which I don't think it is amplified by increasing your lightning or corrosive damage in and of itself. I think it's just a flat damage. So we'll be going with Hex Smoke, which will cause enemies to deal less damage to us, which is always good. With Painkiller, we absolutely have the power to do this vault early on. Hell, I could probably even take on an elite at this point. I would feel pretty comfortable doing that. Persistent. I mean, it's not bad. It's okay. If we get an airbag, it might be okay. Persistent is one of those scrolls that doesn't really... It's never a bad thing to pick up. Is the thing. It's in nearly all situations you want to pick it up. There's never a situation where it is bad outright. But there's only a few situations where it's actively useful. And that is if you can find something like the airbag. Having the airbag is gonna reduce your actual health that you have active, which is gonna cause the persistent to have its full damage reduction at all times, which makes it actually very, very strong. Energy Orb is another reason why I picked Crown Prince, because Energy Orb allows us to stun enemies, which is another fantastic utility. Generally, Energy Orb isn't worth it for the damage, but it is absolutely worth it for the stun and the utility that comes from it. Now we have the option of picking another level of Hex Smoke, and I might just do that, because it's going to further reduce the damage, and if we can get level 3 on this, it's going to increase the duration of that debuff to 20 seconds. Which should basically mean forever, as long as we hit it, which is going to effectively half all incoming damage, which is very, very strong. Now look, careful. Oh, I almost missed this. Go for Luxurious Box. Like I mentioned before, the reason why I go for Luxurious Box is because it has a chance of giving us a Legendary Scroll, and especially early on, Legendary Scrolls can define a build for you and let you know if a build is something you want to pursue. Like if you get Advanced Depot early on in a classic mode run, then it might be really worth it to pivot into something that massively benefits from a infinite ammo pool, or that doesn't have to reload, like a Demon Lord, for instance. Like get an ammo depot and Demon Lord becomes instantly just better in every single way. Here's a very good scroll for our build, or Yeah, just a good scroll in general. It's abnormal speed. One of the best scrolls in the entire game. We'll pick it up. Empty bonus. Empty bonus is a pretty good scroll in my opinion. Obviously it depends on what kind of build you have. This build is not really going to care for it though, because we're not really worried about weapon damage. Undivided attention. It's not bad, it's not great, but it's never a bad thing to have. So I'm just going to pick it up, since we can't keep rerolling. So I might as well pick it up. Money is one of those things that this build doesn't really worry about. As long as you can afford the Gemini to actually get the effect. Weapon levels isn't really something we will be increasing as the run goes on. Because again, we're not after the weapon base damage, we're simply after the how many times it can activate its elemental effect. That's really what we're looking for, not the actual damage of it. Just abusing Painkiller here. Yeah, Painkiller plus Ground Prince plus the smoke grenades is stupid good. Alright. Peddler Talisman, generally things that increase elemental effects, that inflict elemental effects, like the Thunder Power Gem is really good for this build. Speak of the devil, here's the Thunder. We'll pick that up. We'll pick up another Vitality Talisman. None of these really affect us, but Wildfire could be fun in the long term. Rate of Fire is one of those things that are actually going to matter. Well, not that massively, but it will help us. The only problem is I will be forced to spam click my mouse even more, so enjoy the very shaky camera, is all I'm gonna say. Enhanced Capacity Overdraft? I'm tempted to skip this one. We have ways to regenerate our secondary skill, is the thing. If this build was something like a Shuang Sui, I think that's the name, the turtle, whereas having a secondary skill at all times is extremely valuable, I would absolutely pick this up. But I think we'll just re-roll, because this one isn't going to matter for us in the long term. Fire Enthusiast is a much better scroll. Gives us a way to regenerate health, if we look at it here. Every time we deal fire damage, which with Painkiller we will be inflicting fire damage a lot, we will gain back health, which is very strong. And if we inflict ourselves with Burning, because we have Painkiller, which converts all negative elemental effects applied to the hero to bonuses with the opposite effect. So this scroll is going to give us quite a bit of health regeneration. Very good stuff. There's a vault, so I'll be going for that in a minute. I just want to check back. We did do the peddler, yes we did. Did we do the... Let's look at you. Right. Vault time. Oh, it's you. Can I stun you with orb? Yes I can, but kinda barely. Alright, let's see. We're just gonna wait for him to drop the purple orb. Any second now. There we go. Who are you? There you are. I'm gonna spam a few more grenades here. Oh! It just died over here. I have no idea what killed it, but we'll take that. Genesis, okay. Gold Metal! Ooh, hello! Gold Metal is one of the best scrolls in the entire game. Whenever you use your primary or dash, you recover shield or armor. Just very good scroll in general, if I'm gonna be completely honest. You want to be dashing a lot in this game, so it's a way to regenerate shields instantly in case you're missing it. Very good scroll for basically any character, unless you're running Flesh to Bones, which removes your shield. Unless you're running that, it's always a good pickup. And even if you are running a Flesh to Bone, it's not bad, it's not an actively hindering scroll. It just won't do anything for you. So, which means it is very good re-roll fodder, or green chest fodder for you to give it up for something else. Phoenix Roar, not really what we're looking for. Okay, we have the choice of upgrading a scroll we already have to enhanced status, or rolling for a random one. Let's look at what we currently have. Upgrading abnormal speed is very good. It's going to increase our movement speed even further. Enhanced gold medal just adds the secondary skill as a bonus. Not really worth it. This one could be okay. When reloading or for 4 seconds after reloading, 20% damage resistance and 30% movement speed. Could be a okay alternative. It's a very scuffed and inconsistent way of gaining damage resistance. I'm tempted to pick this up though. I'm going to hold off for a bit and do the vault first, see what scrolls we get from here. That's generally worth it, by the way. If you don't have anything you know you instantly want to upgrade, wait and do the vault, or wait to finish the rest of that stage, so you know you don't get another scroll that you may really want to enhance instead. Magic Watch. An okay scroll, not really super useful for us, but it's not bad. Resetting cooldown is fairly okay most of the time. Elemental Weave, one of the most pointless scrolls in the entire game, in my opinion. Elemental effects will always cause elemental damage will always cause an elemental effect within 3 seconds after swapping weapons. Actually, I just had an epiphany. That might be really good for this build that we're actually doing. Generally, I dislike this scroll a lot. I feel it's pointless most of the time, but how does it look when it's upgraded? For 6 seconds, with this specific build, with this only this build, it might actually be worth it to upgrade this thing and do some weapon swapping tactics. So I'm just going to mention it now. This may be a viable scroll to pick up and get. Personally, I don't like bothering with weapon swapping a lot of the time. I don't like making a build around it, and that's not what I was planning on doing this time either way. So I'm gonna hold off for just a bit longer, see if we get a elite spawn somewhere or something this stage. If not, I will just go back and enhance the tactical reload, because I think that one's going to be the best for us in the long term, because we are already starting to have mobility, and in the hierarchy of needs for a Gunfire for a Reincarnation 10 run, it's mobility, damage mitigation, damage output, and then utility, in that order. And since we already have a tiny bit of mobility, I'm starting to want to already look for damage mitigation. Damage mitigation is usually harder to come by compared to movement speed most of the time. Hit a grenade up there? Thank you. Let's see what we got. Both of these are actually very good. After casting Energy Orb, 60% increased shield recharge speed, negative 60% recharge delay, and recharge cannot be interrupted. Might just take this one, actually. It's a fairly good one. It's going to increase our survivability. And it's a 1-level thing. That's just good. Generally, we will be casting this when we're in panicked anyway, so yep, Advanced Shield it is. Fairly good scroll. Not scroll, ascension, I should say. Alright, so we didn't get another scroll. We'll go back and enhance our tactical reload. In case you don't have any scroll that you want to enhance, it may sometimes just be worth it to Go for the random scroll instead. It may just be worth it. Alright, you. We have slowdowns, we have corrosive effects. That's another advice from me, by the way. This boss specifically, if you're struggling with this boss, get some sort of corrosive effect, if you can. Corrosive will slow him down a lot and keep him away from you. And that's generally a very good idea. Crown Prince has, corrosive by default with his secondary skill. But any other hero, if you know you don't have overwhelming damage or enough movement speed to keep out of his range, see if you can grab a corrosive effect weapon from this guy, is generally the strategy I find. Speaking of which, here's a prism. I might pick that up. We want to have something that can deal with the swarm of small enemies. The sword is actually pretty okay for doing that. I'm gonna grab it. Long shot, I might as well grab it. It's free damage. Especially for this boss, it might be pretty good. Talisman. Ooh. This one might actually be pretty okay against the boss. If we go lightning damage and then have our grenades, it would help us stack up Miasma. Yeah, one of very rare instances where I think picking up a talisman weapon is actually the correct call. Very rare indeed. Let's give them both an upgrade. Again, money isn't really going to be a main concern for us during this run, so 50% weapon damage against burning, 50% damage against decay. That's pretty okay, actually. Alright, let's do this. I barely have enough movement speed to keep up. Oh, I forgot I have grenades. They're just very good for dealing with the small trash here. I wish the talisman was auto-fire. Why could they not make this thing auto-fire? Having to spam click this thing all the time is so annoying. Stun being really good here. Ow. Stun you. Inflict a bunch of effects. There we go. Pretty okay. Not the worst thing. Deflection Shield. Oh, this scroll. I know some people that love this scroll and think it's one of the best scrolls in the entire game. My opinion is I hate this thing. I do not like it, and I think it's one of the worst. Simply because of this second effect, plus 90% damage taken from enemies within 15 meters. It turns out, most enemies want to rush you down and kill you with melee damage. And getting overwhelmed is a situation that you generally can't outskill or just deal with. So Deflection Shield becomes such a big liability because of that. So I'm just going to recycle this. I have no use for it. Thunderstorm. Yeah, we're going to take that. I think we're going to grab Elemental Field. Or we could grab another level of Wildfire. No, Elemental Shield, we want the survivability right now. We're going to stay into the second world, which is when this build really starts becoming possible. Before this, the Porcupine combo doesn't really work. We want to grab another level of... We want to grab an improved version of Emergency Recovery, because it's just, again, good health recovery. None of these really matter. None of those really matter either. We'll grab a Vitality Talisman, so we get an upgraded version of it. Let's see here. We want to add in Thunder, that's for sure. Remove you. Adding a Restore Spirit, I think is the correct call here. Yep. Okay, let's see here. Skill Trick, Copycat, or First Strike? So, First Strike, we don't really care about weapon damage, so First Strike doesn't really benefit us that much. Skilled Trick, the weapon we want to use, the Porcupine, can use the weapon skill it has a lot and actually spam it pretty effectively. So this would give us 200% lucky shot chance at all times, basically. The problem is we don't really rely on lucky shot chance, or lucky shot damage. We want to use the elemental miasma. So I think this is one of very rare instances where picking up Copycat is actually the best choice. Copycat is generally a fairly poor blessing in my opinion, because it's worthless during boss fights, which that alone makes it so scuffed to use, because boss fights are a big part of any Gunfire, of any Reincarnation 10 run. But this is one of very rare cases where this one is, I think, the best choice, because it's gonna increase our mobility a lot, our survivability, our health, just everything in general during the most delicate parts of the run, which is against elites, against smaller enemies. So yeah, Copycat I think is absolutely the correct call here. Very rare instance of picking up Copycat. Otherwise I would instantly take First Strike. If this was a regular weapon damage build this season, First Strike would have been an instant pick, no hesitation, no thoughts, instant pick. Hello. It was like, why am I stuck? It was on you, of all things. And Copycat is already proving funny. Again, the only reason I picked up Copycat was because of the improved survivability, not because of the damage it offers. The damage it offers is so inconsistent that I don't think it's worth it. It's an RNG blessing, and that's not something you want. You don't want your blessings to be RNG if you can help it, once they're part of your build. You want a consistent, good effect that's gonna help you at all times. And Copycat is one of those that has the potential of not helping you. Something is doing a lot of damage, and I wonder if it's my scroll, or my talisman. I think it may be. It's kind of funny. Alright, so right now we are looking for two things. We want a weapon that has a shock weapon, specifically, with a high chance to activate. And we also are looking for a porcupine. Any porcupine will do, but if we can find one with some good bonuses on it, they may be very worth it. This elite vault, I'm going to wait until later to do this one. I could probably defeat it because with the bonuses we have, but I would rather not tempt fate and run into something that I can't deal with. So I'm going to wait until we get to the end of this stage and then go back and defeat it. Okay, get a cursed scroll and then do something. Replace a non-exclusive inscription with a selected weapon with an exclusive inscription. Actually, okay, if you have a weapon you know you want. If you have the weapon in your build that you know you want to keep for the rest of the run, this one is actually fairly okay to choose most of the time. This one, get a cursed scroll and gain a weapon with at least one exclusive inscription. Pretty bad, in my opinion. It's a random weapon with just one exclusive inscription, and you get a curse for it. More often than not, you get a weapon that you're not going to use, so you just get cursed for no real benefit. Cursed scroll for increased weapon level, also generally not worth it. It's better to just spend money to gain weapon levels than get a cursed scroll. The one exception to both of these scenarios would be if you have something like the Talisman scroll and the cursed sword. Where's that cursed sword? Devil's sword, I think it is. The sword scroll, anyway. That increases your damage for every cursed scroll you have. That is one exception where picking up a cursed... where you want to pick up all the cursed scrolls you can find, actually. Because that's just going to increase your damage. And you can already see the amount of damage our miasma is doing. Putting in heavy work. Final level of Hex Smoke. I will absolutely take that. That means enemies are now going to do 60% less damage for 20 seconds, basically at all times after I hit them with a grenade, so very good stuff. Hidden Treasure, utility one that increases money gain. We don't really care about money or health, so we're gonna reroll. Casual Gunmanship. Enhanced version has no downside, so I might as well take it. Here we have a Lightning Kasana. Lightning Kasana is one of the highest base rate chances weapon to inflict shock. It has 40%, and 40% is absolutely acceptable for the Gemini secondary weapon that we want to look for. So I'm going to pick this one up. We're not going to use it actively. We only want to keep it for when we get the Speak of the devil, here's a porcupine. Oh, my beloved, come here. Porcupine. Alright, now we want a weapon craftsman, which I see him right over there on the minimap. So, the specific reason why we want a porcupine for this build is because of how many projectiles it has and how fast it fires. The base damage of porcupine is very low. That's not really the thing we're concerned about. We want as many projectiles and as high a rate of fire as possible. We want to hit the enemy with as many hits as possible all the time. We also want as high of a chance as possible. And all things considered, the Porcupine has one of the highest projectile counts combined with rate of fire in the game. So that's why we want to use the Porcupine. The reason we want something like the Lightning Kasana with a high chance to inflict an elemental effect is because when you do the Elemental Shared Gemini, over here by the Craftsman, here, Weapon 1 and 2 share their elemental advantages, and there's a chance to apply the elemental effect from the other weapon. This effect will use the base chance of the weapon that you're currently not using. So if I fire this weapon, every hit has a 40% chance to inflict shock effect. Not 10%, it has a 40% chance, because it uses the secondary weapon's chances instead of the primary weapon. You will still have a 10% chance to also inflict a decay for every projectile you hit with your primary, but you also get an additional 40% chance to inflict shock. These two combined together is going to allow you to inflict massive amounts of miasma stacks on enemies, which is absolutely what we want. So, with just these two weapons, our build is basically complete. Everything else that we pick up from here on out is just complementary, survivability and utility. And movement speed as well. Yeah, just 3 shots and we're already stacking up to 10 miasma. Actually 9 technically, because 9 is the highest it can go. So, yep, instantly highest stacks. And that's just gonna bleed him out. As long as you keep applying miasma stacks, you can see the damage is very, very consistent. And there he goes. We barely had to shoot him. As long as you keep the stacks high, your damage output will be extremely consistent. More smoke grenades, sure. Because again, we don't really care about the fire damage or the corrosive damage itself. We just want more miasma applications. That's what we're really looking for. Spirit Feline, hello there. I might pick you up. Elemental Cube, we don't really care about elemental damage. Fountain of Life is not the best scroll in the game. It's kind of bad if you already have a way of recovering health. Early on, if you have a build where you don't recover health, it can be a fairly okay alternative to recover health as you go along. But Spirit Feline, this is a scroll I initially thought was really bad, and I will say it is not the greatest scroll for lower difficulties. However, for Reincarnation 10, where everything in the entire game already hits you for more than 40% of your max health all the time anyways, this thing is going to be very, very useful in my opinion. Is what I would have said if this was any other run. However, because we have the Vitality Talisman, towards the end game, we will be having such a massive health pool that we start wanting more damage resistance again, and Spirit Feline starts becoming a liability. However, we can just pick this up now and then discard it later once we start getting to that stage of health pool. So for now, it's a very good scroll to pick up. And if I didn't have the Vitality Talisman as our late-game survivability plan, then Spirit Feline is just a very solid option. Pick up Spirit Feline alongside something that recovers your health and shields a lot, and you will become nearly unkillable. Also, I need to open my window here because it's getting very warm. Recording this during summer, during very high temperatures, so I have to actually keep a steady airflow so I don't pass out while recording. You know, that would be slightly unfortunate. So the really only thing we're looking for right now in Peddlers is utility scrolls like Ammo Recoverer. Sure, why not? It's just more ammo. We're not going to run out of ammo, I'm not worried about that, but it doesn't hurt to have. And other weapons with high probability of inflicting corrosive chance, if we can find that. Or if we can find an even better Porcupine for this build. Again, we're not really looking for weapon damage for a Porcupine. We're looking for rate of fire and elemental chance to be applied, or projectile count, stuff like that, or reload speed or magazine size. Basically, anything that improves the usability of it is gonna be worth it compared to just straight up damage. And you can see we're already starting to get up to that health threshold of very high health with the Vitality Talisman. Because we're triggering so many elemental effects. Which, by the way, I should clarify how the Vitality Talisman works. You gain 10% max HP capacity for each condition triggered. This bonus will be decayed by 5% per second. Initially, I thought this meant elemental conditions like fire, or corrosive effect, or shock effect. That is wrong. It means the condition of these two. So every time you fulfill this requirement, or every time you fulfill this requirement, you gain that plus 10% max health. So if you can abuse the scroll, or abuse the talisman, and find a setup where you can trigger these a massive amount of times, you will become nearly immortal. That's another reason why I picked up the Vitality Talisman over the standard Notch Talisman, which is otherwise the meta pick at the moment. Because Notch Talisman gives you bonus health, bonus damage, bonus primary skilled recovery time, bonus movement speed, bonus shield, just bonus everything, so it's generally the best one. But since we don't really care about damage output or our primary skill, we only really care about survivability, the Vitality Talisman becomes the best option for us. We're gonna pick up another energy orb. The stun is gonna come in handy later on. Anything here that's useful? Elemental boost? We don't really care about elemental damage, we only care about the elemental effect. Rather thunder? None of these are really what I'm looking for. Do I have the enhanced version or the rare one? Yes, I do. Emergency recovery, because I saw it here. Could have otherwise have been a very good pick, but we're going to pick up another Vitality Talisman to have something to re-roll the stats, or reforge the stats later. We had a vault here? Yes, we did. Fantastic. What do you have? Gain a luxurious box, or replace all normal inscriptions with a rare one. So that one in particular may sometimes be worth it. So replace all normal inscriptions of the selected weapon with the rare inscriptions. The one inscription that we would really want is a blue or a rare inscription that says increase the elemental application chances by 100%. If we can get this on this weapon, that would be huge. So I'm really tempted to just add this one to this, see if we get it. Unfortunately, we did not, but we did get this one. Create a bullet to chase nearest enemies on crit hits. That's going to increase the amount of applications that we do on packs of enemies, so overall a good reroll there. Don't really need to increase the levels or anything, so let's do the vault. So armored enemies... oh, never mind. I forget which type of enemy it is that are basically immune to miasma effect. I forgot the name of them. But they can become a problem enemy. Granted, they are usually pretty rare, so I'm not that worried about running into them that often. And there we go. That elite defeated. Absolutely zero effort required. Just a few hits from the Porcupine. Was able to keep the stacks up at all times. Vitality? Rapid fire. Okay. Sanguine Relic. Ooh. Berserker Soul, Sucker Punch. Sanguine Relic may be the single best scroll we can pick up because we have Feline Spirit. We don't really care about the damage resistance that we lose. Recovering 30% of our lost total HP every time we deal damage for every 0.5 seconds is so big as a bonus. I can barely begin to describe it. Plus 50% max HP as well is going to stack really nicely alongside the Vitality Talisman as well. So, absolutely we want to pick that up. We're rocking 135% negative damage resistance, which is kind of spooky. This means anything that do multi-hits, like the flamethrower for the final enemies, or the final stage, final world, I should say, are going to be very scary. Oh, fantastic. Glazed Barrier. Ugh. Glazed Barrier is just annoying, in my opinion. It's not difficult, it's just annoying. Take the high ground here. Just a few stacks. Any chests or anything up here? I don't think I missed anything. Nope, nothing up here. Yep, as you see, we barely have any scrolls that improve our actual damage. We're just relying on Miasma right now, and it's able to kill basically everything very fast. That's why I wanted to make a video for this build, because of how strong it is. Armored Robust. Oh, he perished anyway. That is otherwise the enemy you may want to watch out for, because they are basically immune to the Miasma effect. So if you run into enemies with those bonuses, you may struggle a bit. And there he goes. Another bonus with the Porcupine is that it has very long range. It is effectively a sniper rifle with high rate of fire, with how fast these travel and how far they can go. So long-range enemies are no threat, really. Let's do the vault. We have a lot of movement speed for this. Very nice. A piece of advice when doing parkour vaults: if you have some weapons that are very heavy, just swap to your foundry, and you should be able to do basically every single jumping puzzle or jumping vault in the entire game. Double Acceleration, an okay scroll for us, increases our secondary capacity, pretty okay. Shock Enthusiast might be an okay one. But we don't really care about the damage. The one part we might care about is the damage taken, because we have Painkiller, which means we get the reverse effect. It would mean that whenever we deal lightning damage, which is a lot of the time, most of the time, we would basically take 10% less damage at all times. So with Painkiller and a lot of lightning inflicting ability, this one would just be a 10% damage reduction or 10% damage resistance bonus. Granted, we already have 135% negative, so I don't know how warranted it would be. And then we have Blazing Hoop. I don't think we need it. It's a toss-up between Lightning Enthusiast and Blazing Hoop here in the end. Towards the end of the run, I'm probably gonna give up Spirit Feline. We're still gonna have a pretty big damage resistance lost from Sanguine Relic, but Lightning Enthusiast should help us mitigate that to some degree. So both of these are equally valid options for this run, but I'm gonna pick Lightning Enthusiast, with the hopes of getting rid of Spirit Feline towards the end. Evil Banishing Talisman. Okay, that's pretty nice. Very good utility. Being immune to Cursed Scrolls is generally worth it. Then again, most Cursed Scrolls in this game aren't that debilitating, with a few exceptions. Like if we got the reduced chance to do elemental effects one, this run would be basically instantly dead, because we wouldn't be able to inflict enough elemental effects to keep the run going. Oh, there was a nest. Okay, we got 3 Arsonists. And an Agile monster. Or Elite Coyote. Okay, 5 Elites? Are you kidding me? I mean, yeah, it is the final stage before the end here, I realize, so... I have some grenades. There we go. Very consistent, very good damage. Can't complain. It takes 2. Okay. More shields? Sure, we'll take that. I'm thinking next video I make, I'm probably gonna showcase a demon lore focused build that abuses the current seasonal talisman. I think that would be fun to showcase, just how broken you can make the talisman system, like, truly go. Probably Tau as well. It's gonna be fun. Increased rate of fire? Sure. This one doesn't really matter, because it's just gonna be one application of a corrosive effect. We inflict so much more elemental effects just by shooting. So I will take the increased rate of fire instead. Intimidating Presence, a fairly good utility scroll actually. Basically crowd controls anything after you manage to get a kill on an enemy nearby. Yeah, we'll take it. Skateboarder? I'm tempted to pick it up. Basically means we wouldn't have to reload, but at that point it would be pointless for us to have the enhanced tactical reload that we got all the way at the start, so I don't think I'm gonna get it. Hope for another thing, which we did not get. And that's okay. No need to increase weapon level. Of course, if you're playing this on lower difficulties, or you manage to get a lot of weapon damage increasing scrolls, you can still add all of those things on top of this build. It doesn't just have to focus on the miasma itself and nothing else. You can add on weapon damage as a regular build as well, and just have the miasma damage on top of it. It can absolutely work like that, depending on how you want to do things. Yeah, that attack is stupidly hard to dodge. You just have to face tank that one, I've realized. Yeah, this damage is pretty damn good. And we also have enough movement speed to where we can easily outrun the attacks. Oh, I thought he was going up. Not yet. You gonna get out of your phase anytime soon? Hello? I mean, you're not really damaging me at all. Finally. Oh, too late for you, buddy. Increase the radius or more orbs? I say we grab increased radius. Lightless shield. I will take that. We've got another porcupine here. Is it worth it? No, not really. Talisman Peddler, what do you have? Agility? Could be nice. I'll pick it up. Flesh recovery could be a fun scroll line, or a fun power gem. Because we will soon be having just metric tons amounts of health from our Vitality Talisman, Flesh Conversion could allow us to also have a metric ton of shields, if we wanted to. And I think that sounds funny, so we're gonna go for it. And another emergency recovery, just because I can. So now that we have our weapon and everything, we're gonna get rid of the defeat enemies, and we're gonna go with hits instead. Basically, every shot we do has 26 hits. So this one should be fulfilled nearly instantly. And the elemental effects one is also fulfilled basically in an instant, at the snap of the fingers. Occult Booster, Overconsumption, or Endless Assault. Endless Assault is an okay one. It's kind of inconsequential though. Occult Booster can be pretty okay actually. Overconsumption, no, we're not doing an overconsumption run. So Occult Booster I think is just the best one to go for. Yep, Occult Booster. Not an amazing blessing, but it's not bad. It has some decent potential. Oh, back to Origin. Fantastic. So weapon damage is still 1, but they still take the full damage from Miasma. Okay, for you I actually have to take out my thing because you are armored, which means you don't take any weapon damage essentially. Enjoy Miasma. Yeah, Miasma just goes through back to Origin. Just pretty funny. So they'll just slowly choke him to death. Here we go. Nice and easy. Any chests? Any vaults? Nope. Ah, here's a chest. I think we just grab a luxurious gift. Reasonable luck. We don't really care about lucky chance shot either way, so I'm just gonna grab it and hold on to it as a potential fodder scroll in case we get to another chest where you can give up a scroll for something else. So I'll hold on to it for now. It's not gonna reduce our damage, it's not gonna improve it that much either. So I'm fine either way. Slowly whittle you down. Another talisman. Point blank? Are you kidding me? Why do we have to get all the worst modifiers? I see a peddler. Peddler, give me something good to make me cope with the pain. Vindictive Nature, not really worth it. We don't really care. Terrific Crossfire could be good. Yeah, I'll take it. It's not really build defining or anything, but it's worth it to pick it up so we have more uses of our energy orb to stun enemies in case we need to. There's a Volt. Beautiful stun. I would also classify this build as a very low intensity build, because the only thing you really need to do every now and then is fire your weapon. And even if the Porcupine can be spammed like this, you don't have to fire that fast to keep up maximum stacks of Miasma. You could just fire every now and then like this. Like boom, 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 boom. Very low APM required for this build. You don't need to spam your secondary skill either, or your primary skill. So in that sense, it's also a very good build for those who may not have the ability to click their mouse very fast, or just roll their hands over their keyboard to activate all their secondary skills and primary skills and everything in between. It's a very accessible build. That's not to say you can mag dump, in case you want to. You can instantly just mag dump in their face. Very good. Greedy choice. We'll take it. Enduring Caster, and has Decay Drive and Ammo Belt. Okay. This is one of those instances where I either pick up only Decay Driver or pick up everything here. Enduring Caster with Vitality Talisman and the amount of health we're gonna have is hilarious, because it's gonna add so much skill damage. Granted, we're not really using skill damage, but it could still be funny. But I'm just gonna go with Decay Driver. Decay Driver is also one of the best scrolls in the entire game. If you're able to inflict any sort of corrosive, it's just gonna give you free movement speed. And especially as Crown Prince, where you have corrosive grenades, it's just free movement speed, basically, at all times. It's one of my favorite scrolls ever, because of this reason. Even on other characters other than Crown Prince, if you have anything that inflicts corrosive, anything at all, like corrosive, like Circle, or a talisman with the corrosive slash, that also counts. Speaking of which, I'm going to replace the Restore Spirit with the Agility one, because I'm realizing I'm not spamming my grenades enough to warrant having a thing that recovers grenades for me. Like, sure, it's nice to have, but not really required. So I would rather take faster movement speed, because that's going to make us survive a lot longer. Dodge attacks and everything. Joke's on you, I barely take any damage. Because of Feared Speedline, buddy. And they're dead. You, get down from the roof, sir. Thank you. Or just perish, that works for me too. There we go. Pretty easy, actually. It's crazy to me how just good and consistent this build actually ends up being all the time. We're gonna grab Smoke Genius, because again, we don't really care about the elemental damage. Instead, we want pure utility. basically the hardest part of this run is just obtaining the combo of Porcupine plus a shock weapon. If you can get to that point where you can actually get that, you basically completed the run. You've won the game, basically. Element and Enchant is actually a gem, power gem, where in 99% of cases it's bad. It's worthless. In this specific build, though, it can actually be worth something, so we're actually gonna grab it. And there we go, Legendary Vitality Talisman. This is the point where our damage or our health is going to get scaled up to such a high degree where I'm actually going to drop Spirit Feline. Because we will be sitting on so much health. So let's see here. I want to clear this one out. Add in Emergency Recovery. I also want to add in Flesh Conversion. Wait. Oh. Wait, up to 2 empty drum slots are considered as having the secondary power. Wait, can I just... Okay, I can't fill them if they're not empty. Okay, so this is kind of funky. Or can I... Oh, hold on a minute here. What else do we want? Elemental Enhance, sure. Can take that. Thunder, we want that, absolutely. Agility. And then Flesh Conversion. There we go. Kind of funky to have to do it that way, but it is what it is. Yeah, that seems fairly okay to me. So we're going to recover health, then convert a lot of our health into more armor and shields. Which, it's just going to get us even more health and such. So, yeah. And then we're going to recover the health that we lost from Flesh Conversion. Let's see it in action. Let's see how much health we can sit on with this thing from now on. I want to re-roll basically all of these. The only one that's worth considering keeping even is trigger condition requirements, because this is going to make us able to trigger the, increased capacity health more often. I'm going to reforge it in its entirety anyway. When health HP drops, Vitality Talisman grants 4% max HP for 2 seconds, not stackable. Okay. Triggers the power gem in the second slot every 6 seconds. Yeah, sure. I think this one's better? Question mark? No. I think we keep the one we currently have. The other one isn't good enough. Well, let's see what kind of shenanigans we can do with this one. Actually, I kind of realized I want to go back and explain the reasoning behind the way I build my talisman in a minute here. So I'll do that after this section. I'll explain slightly more why the flesh conversion is usually a pretty bad option unless you have this specific setup. Wave 2 incoming. Yeah, you can see we're already starting to sit on around 700 health. If we actually spam this now and go for a whole bunch of elemental effects, yeah, we just hit 1000 HP, because we're triggering that elemental, the trigger gem for the elemental effects so many times. And we're just sitting on 900 health. So, to explain what's just happening now. This Vitality Talisman is giving us HP for each condition triggered. Because we have the elemental effect condition gem, and we're inflicting so many instances of miasma, corrosive, shock, fire, everything. It's triggering it all the time, constantly. And that's gonna give us more HP a lot faster. So, to go back to explain Flesh Conversion, what it does is that it consumes your HP, shield and regular health as well, to then give you more shield or armor capacity for 5 seconds. Normally this is a pretty bad power gem in my opinion, because you're just consuming your health to give yourself max HP, which kind of defeats the purpose of having max HP in the first place, because you're consuming your health to give yourself more maximum. So you're just damaging yourself for no real reason. Since we have so many slots to work with, however, and because we have 2 instances of emergency recovery, we first heal up to our max HP, or usually max HP, then we remove 40% of that max HP to give ourselves even more shields, and then we recover that health that we just lost with another instance of recovery. That's another thing worth mentioning, by the way, with talismans. They go in the order that you've put them in terms of how they trigger. So if I were to put flesh conversion last, all of this health recovery stuff would happen before the flesh conversion happened. That's why I'm having emergency recovery, then flesh conversion, and then emergency recovery again, and then all the other ones after that. That's something worth considering when building up your talisman. Dual edge? No, absolutely not. We don't need the more percent damage dealt, we just need miasma. Elemental torments? Okay, not bad. Improved clip, however. Whenever an ammo pack is picked up, it directly refills your magazine instead of reserve ammo, and increases your movement speed by 25% until reloaded. More movement speed? Can never go wrong with that, so we're gonna pick it up. Any other vendors or anything that we missed? Did I miss you? Have I looked at your stock yet? I have not. Okay. Magnetic coil. Yeah, that's a pick. Just more elemental effects even, because we need more, apparently. Thorny Carapace. Release an enemy when an enemy hits you. Release a spike that deals corrosive damage to an enemy. Actually fairly good. Means even more corrosive instances, which means more health. It's a feedback loop. Yeah, as soon as we go into combat now, we gain like 500 max HP already. Plus like 200, 300 shields. Yeah, if we could just mag dump something here, I'm gonna showcase this. Mag dumping this guy. We're currently sitting on around 1,300 health. Yeah, that's the power of the Vitality Talisman once you get something that can trigger your gems a lot. You become a walking wall of meat. With just pure health pool. Like, you don't need damage resistance, all you need is just pure health. It's really funny. An elite? Sure, we can go do that. Or actually a chest first. Gain a random scroll, sure. Foundry Blessing, not really worth it. Like, one blessing that I would absolutely love to have on this build would be Battle Scarred, because that would give us a lot of damage resistance that we're currently missing. And make us even tankier, because clearly we don't have enough tankiness with our 1000 HP. But yeah, that's the power, that's the beauty of Miasma. You don't need more damage from other sources. You just need Miasma. It's actually, the power of Miasma is one of those things that have made me actually consider doing a no ascensions, no scrolls, or actually no blessing, no ascension, only scrolls as power-up bonuses, Reincarnation 10 run. I've legitimately considered it before with that. I've made a few attempts, and it's really, really hard to get a run going, but I believe as soon as you can get as long as you get survivability scrolls as your first few options, the rest of the run should just work out completely fine. I've yet to make it happen, but maybe someday I will be able to make it work, and that'll be a fun thing to record. Just skipping all the things that normally make a Reincarnation 10 run doable, like the blessings, the ascensions, only doing scrolls, and and the weapon itself. Because the scrolls is going to be the main source of damage mitigation and movement speed, which are the two things that you only really need when you have Miasma. Damage mitigation and speed. That's it. That's all you need. I'm just gonna grenade everything here. So many enemies. Just give them all Miasma. Magnum Q, because for the fun of it, give myself more HP than I will ever need. So the one true downside of the Miasma build is that you will never have a run where you're just insta-killing things. That's something worth considering. If that's what you kind of want to do, then the Miasma build is not for you, because you aren't going to be able to just insta-kill everything that you run across. That's just not going to happen because of how Miasma works. But it will make you able to just dominate Reincarnation 10 runs. That's something I wanted to also clarify. Miasma becomes more and more effective the higher difficulty you go, because it scales with enemy health pools. And because enemy health pool are at their largest in Reincarnation 10, Miasma just becomes exponentially more effective. I am expecting them to actually nerf Miasma because of how effective this build actually ends up being. Now, I noticed this Porcupine. This one has the plus 100% elemental chance of this weapon triggering, which means that yes, we actually want to swap Porcupines here. Simply, only because of that. That's the only reason we want to swap here. So we're going to head back to the crafter and make sure it has the correct Gemini. Might as well etch it as well. There we go, finally. We also picked up a Scroll Enhancer, which for this specific build as well means that we can start re-rolling scrolls that otherwise give us damage. And another pro tip, if you have a scroll... Actually, I just realized something you can do with this thing. Hold on, I'll explain in a minute my thought process, because I just realized something big. I'll do it after this treasure chest. More shields, why not? So, something I just realized. For those who don't know what Scroll Enhancer does, it basically gives you a chance that whenever you recycle a scroll, that you will then upgrade another scroll that's in your inventory. And eventually, well, as you keep doing this, the Scroll Enhancer will eventually break and then be removed from your inventory, so you can't keep doing it forever. However, it should only recycle scrolls that you have in your inventory, which made me realize I can just drop whatever I have that I don't want to be upgraded, and then I can literally force it to upgrade what I want instead. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna drop the gold medal, Evil Banishing Talisman, it takes 2, Lightless Shield, Reasonable Luck, Big Eater, Magic Watch, Elemental Weave, Sanguine You, Intimidating Presence, Greedy Choice, we can't drop that, so we're gonna have to keep it. Persistent, Abnormal Speed, Undivided Attention. Yeah, we're basically gonna drop everything. And then we're gonna pick up the ones I know I want to be enhanced. So which one do I want to be enhanced the most out of all of this? I think it would be probably Sanguine Relic. So we're gonna pick that up, and we're gonna go and recycle something that we don't need, like Foundry Blessing. And it immediately destroyed our Scroll Enhancer. Okay, that's that's unfortunate. But we did get this one, which just removes the damage increase aspect of it. Now we just get more health and HP recovery, so now we can pick back all the scrolls we want. So that's a little fun technique you can do with the scroll enhancer if you have the ability to. Pretty funny. Really unfortunate though that it instantly destroyed itself, which is actually a really low chance of happening. Oh well, it is what it is. Am I seeing that right? Enhanced mid-air strike. Okay, so for the uninitiated, mid-air strike, the regular version, is one of the most meh scrolls in the entire game. It gives you 50% weapon and skill damage when you're in the air. That's kinda whatever, to be honest. The enhanced version, I can't even describe how big of a glow up this thing gets when it is enhanced. Because you take 90% less damage when in the air. 90% less damage when in the air. I can't overstate how good that is, because that solves your damage mitigation problem in a single scroll. As long as you keep on jumping, you're basically immortal. You don't take any damage when you're in the air. So we're absolutely going to be picking that up. Piercing bullets, we don't really care about skill or weapon damage, so we're going to ignore that. Take it all! All the cult scrolls become non-discardable, that's fine. Peculiar chests offer multiple options, destroy after selecting 6 times. That's an okay utility one, I'll take it. Nothing to reroll here. Alright. So, from here on out, we're going to be spamming jump. And, if you don't like that, then, I apologize, but this isn't the correct video for you. Just slowly withering it down with Miasma. Granted, it has elemental armor, so that's kind of unfortunate. That's one of the worst ones we can get for this build specifically, because we're working with so many elemental effects. Already got it. Alright, mini elite. Just gonna mag dump you, or barrel stuff you, I should say. Yeah, and we can just face tank him because we have so much health and enough damage resistance and enough health recovery as well. Porcupine is also one of the best weapons in the game for dealing with the meteors, because it has such a fast projectile. So that's another nice bonus. I would still prefer not to get hit by it, if all possible. I mean, it is best practice not to get hit by it, after all. Alright, fairly easily. Not that bad. Longer freeze duration? Sure, I'll take that. Merciless Strike. Kinda pointless for our build, but would be rude not to pick it up. Alright. Talisman Peddler, what you got? Nothing here, really. Ah, wait a minute. Elemental Power. Hello. Plus 100% elemental effect chance. That's a good power gem. I haven't actually run across this yet. I'll take that. Anything good? No, and it's not stackable either, so... Alright. Let's see if we can reforge this thing into something better. This trigger condition... Meh. Rare power gem has 50% chance to trigger 2 times. Okay. Trigger the effect of power gem in second slot every 6 seconds. Okay. 100% chance to trigger additional time when activating power gem. Alright, we'll take it. What I'm really looking for with the talismans, basically any talisman, I'm looking for reduced cooldown. Is the thing I'm really looking for. But these ones are okay. However, it's going to be triggering this one a lot, so we want to move things around a bit. And I think... agility, we don't need more movement speed. That's not something we need. Instead, we're going to move everything... Okay, emergency recovery, flash conversion. Let's see, where was it? Elemental power. It's unstackable though. So we're just gonna make it so that it shoots out more thunders. Why not? It's free. Free stuns, just free stuff. Very good. Alright. I think that's it. With that, on to the final world. Hello there, Battle-Scarred! I'm not even gonna pretend like I see these other ones. Battle-Scarred, instant pickup. Swap that out for a Cult Booster, I think. Or even for Copycat, because we don't really need Copycat. Yeah, I'm just gonna swap it out from Copycats. Copycat, be gone. Alright. We basically won this game. 65% damage resistance on top of everything else that we currently have. Is just hilarious, quite frankly. Ow, stun. I think I saw a chest up here, didn't I? Yes, I did. Sure, why not? Multiple... Okay, multiple porcupine. More pellets? Don't mind if I do. It's even more applications of elemental effects. As if we needed more. Holy crap, this... I didn't have high hopes for this specific run going into this. I mean, I knew it would be fine because this build is just so consistent, but... I didn't realize I would be getting this many bonuses for it. This is hilarious. Holy crap. Let's do this. Oh, come on, get up there. Let's go, yeah. I don't know. I don't want to be too mean. Don't want to be offensive. They're creatures, I guess. Ah, he disappeared. I think it's you. I'm fairly certain it's you. It was you. Fantastic. Is it you? No, it's not you. It's you. Yeah, so the way you can take... That's another tip, by the way. On lower difficulties, it's actually really difficult to tell these guys apart. But on higher difficulties, because they take such a drastic difference in terms of... such a drastic difference in damage taken, it's actually really easy to tell which one is the real one, compared to the fake ones. You're fake, you're real. Thank you. Finally. Still one of the most annoying enemies in the game to kill. Let's see what we got. Abundant Vitality. Enhanced speedy travel, okay. Against the flow. I think I'm just gonna take speedy traveler. Granted, we're not gonna be able to stack it up, because enhanced speedy traveler only stacks up as you're moving, and we're about to finish this run. Like, we're towards the end here, so it's not going to be able to stack up that high. But it should still stack up a little bit, at the very least, which is very nice. Give me a minute here. Just need to reset the playlist. More copycats? Are you kidding me? Oh, here we go. Hello there, Charger. I'm not afraid of you. I have 85% damage resistance and thousands of health. I am not afraid of you. You should be afraid of me. There we go, that's one of them. You, sir, get over here. I ain't done with you. Yeah, casually look at our HP, by the way. 1,900. I saw it clipping 2,000 as well earlier. That's the power of the Vitality Talisman at this stage. It is crazy good with this build, because you can just trigger it so often. More elites coming in. Still with the flying saucer though. And pop it goes. You're not the real one, you're fake. You're the real one though. Can you stop teleporting all the time? You're removing my miasma stacks. Thank you. Here we go, finally. I'm just instantly gonna grab whatever ascensions we get. It really doesn't matter at this stage. But I still want the ascensions, just because. Any enemies up here? No. Alright. Or rather, any chests or vaults, I should say. Alas, no such things. So, overall, if I had to rate this run on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of how absurd it has been, I would give it a solid... So in terms of just pure damage, or like pure build... like, what I set out to do, absolutely a 9. We got basically everything we wanted for this build. Loads of survivability, lots of movement speed, all that stuff. That's exactly what I set out to get for this build, and we got it. As for pure damage output, I've had higher damage runs with this where I managed to get, you know, a bunch of weapon damage alongside the Miasma build, which made it even stronger because, well, obvious reasons. But you don't really need to do that for it to be a viable run. Slowly whittling down their health. one of them, just one left. It's you, get over here. Here we go, finally. Hello. If I was going for a pure damage porcupine, that porcupine would have been pretty crazy good. Alas, that's not what we're doing with this run. Alright, we're coming up to the final part of this stage with 50 billion elites. That's gonna be fun to deal with. Well, not 50 billion, but, you know, a lot of elites, I should say. Chest, see what we got. Get money, I guess. Really doesn't matter. None of these matter, you don't matter. Sure, I might as well just pick you up. Like, scroll selection at this point doesn't really matter for this build either way. Like, I can't think of many things that would actually benefit us that much. Other than some damage mitigation or movement speed ones. Alright, here we go. Here come the elites. Elite spam incoming. I'm just gonna start slowly whittling them down with smoke grenades and all the miasma effects. Hello. That's two of them off their mounts. Three of them off their mounts. Expecting the fourth one to go down anytime soon. I can literally just stand here and take all the damage they're pushing out without any consequences. This is the reason why we go for damage mitigation over damage output. This is exactly the reason why. Is it you? Yeah, you're the original. Please perish. Just dragging this out. There we go, finally. That's another effect that's actually kind of nice. When triggering elemental effects, spread it to all enemies within 8 meters. Actually, pretty good. I thought I killed everything, but I guess I didn't. Guess I have to teach you this lesson once again. Old man, how many times do you have to teach you this lesson, old man? There you go, finally. But yeah, this effect, when triggering elemental effects, spread it to all enemies within 8 meters. Actually a pretty good one for this build specifically, so if you find a porcupine with that, absolutely consider picking it up. Hello there! That's a sword, Flowing Light. It's one of few weapons that has a 50% chance by default to trigger elemental effect, which is actually 10% higher than our Lightning Kasana, so we're gonna swap it out. It already had the correct Gemini, which is pretty funny to me. Advanced Depot, sure, I'll take it. Why not? Oh, you're still here. Perish. I'm slightly tempted to just skip this vault. Because elites at this point are just annoying. But we're gonna do it anyway, for the sake of Sake of completion. Nothing really useful here. We'll buy another Vitality Talisman and give it a reroll. Yeah, just reforge the entire thing. Hello there. 50% trigger condition requirement? Okay. 10% talisman cooldown after triggering gem 29 times? Very good. And this one, triggering the effective power gem every 6 seconds at the second slot is okay. Which one is that? That's the Thunder. Yep. Pretty good one. I wish the trigger condition requirement was instead set to 50% faster cooldown. But that one is still okay. It's not bad. Alright, lead time. Show me what you got. Actually, how much? I want to see. How much health can I stack? 2,500. Can I go higher? 2,700, 2,800, 3,000. 3,200, 3,300. Come on, go higher. Higher! 3,500. 3,600, 700. 800. 4,000. Oh, my hand's starting to go numb. Oh, I saw 4,200 there for a second. Holy crap. Yeah. Who told me that Vitality Talisman was bad? Come on, raise your hand. I dare you. Unfettered will, because of course. You know what? I'm gonna pick all of them. No reason not to. So just give me 300% weapon damage here towards the end. Why not? And we got Gluttony. That's okay. Do we take flesh to bones here? Or flesh and bones? I kind of want to. Let's do it. Just jack up our health even further. Holy crap. Alright, let's see this shenanigans. I'm gonna see how much total health can we just increase to. Spam a few grenades and just go cray. What the fuck? What is this health pool? What the fuck? Oh my. 21,000 health? What the fuck? Okay, yeah, I know what my thumbnail is going to be for this video. Oh my god, I'm getting lightheaded. That is hilarious. $30,000. Come on, I'm stuck. Why am I stuck? Oh, I'm out of ammo. Oh shit. I'm out of ammo. That's kind of bad. Please give me more ammo. Thank you. That's a problem I didn't realize I would have. I would literally run out of ammo because I have Advanced Depot. Actually, you know what? Advanced Depot, where are you? Advanced Depot. I can't discard it. God damn it. I have a solution. Hold on. I can fix this. You go away and add in bullet ammo regen. There we go. It doesn't matter. Holy moly. What a run. That was great. So, hopefully you learned a thing or two, and this has opened your eyes to the power of Miasma, how completely game-breaking it is on Reincarnation 10. So, yep, go out, get out there, get yourself a Porcupine, get yourself a Flowing Light, mash them together with a Gemini, and just go crazy. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one.